to the Crafty Gemini. I post weekly videos right here on my YouTube channel, and in this video tutorial, I'm teaching you how to make my Starburst Zipper Pouch. I designed the Starburst Zipper Pouch with my 5-inch slicer ruler. If you don't have one of these little guys yet, I've included a link for you in the description box below. That will send you to my online shop on where you can purchase one of these. And if you live outside of the United States, no worries, because we also ship internationally. Now let's jump right into the project by going over the supplies. To make our Starburst Zipper Pouch here, we're going to need the following supplies. I have 4 squares of complementary or coordinating fabrics here that measure 5 inches by 5 inches. You'll need a 7-inch or a little bit longer zipper would work fine. My 5-inch slicer ruler, some fabric for the lining, and some fusible fleece. Aside from that, just your basic sewing supplies and a sewing machine, an ironing board, and an iron. Choose 2 of the 4 fabrics, and these are going to be the ones that you want to be the biggest panel in the center of both sides of your zippered pouch. I'm going to work with these 2 here, and let's grab our rotary cutter and the 5-inch slicer. For the first cut, I want you to flip the 5-inch slicer over and put it right down the middle so that the outermost tip here is touching the bottom of the square. So it should be flush down here and straight going up, flush at the top as well. And I'm going to slice along the right-hand side. Now, I need to repeat that to the other side, so I'm just going to flip the ruler over and do the exact same thing. The point is touching here, it's flush on the bottom, flush at the top, and we're going to slice. So this is what you should end up with. You're going to repeat that to the other panel. Now we're going to play a swapping and flipping game. So these 2 are going to switch over and these 2 are going to switch over. But notice I'm going to take this one here and I'm going to flip it. The same thing with this one and flip it. You want to make sure that the edges match. If I flipped it this way, you can see that if it matches up here, down here it's still a little bit short. So you know it's oriented incorrectly. So flip it so it matches point to point. Now we're going to do the same thing with these outer ones. Take this one, flip it, this one, and flip it. So now it looks like a gem shape, right? And let's flip these over so we can start to see it in the orientation that I designed the pouch to be made in. So each one of these will be one side of the pouch, so the 2 outer pieces, okay? Now it's still kind of steep, this angle here, so we're going to add 2 more pieces to each side. So here's what you're going to do. I want you to put it on one side and make a cut, and then you're going to mirror image it and make the cut on the other side. Now let's head over to the sewing machine to piece these guys together. Now that they're pieced and pressed, let's trim them up so that they're all symmetrical and they both look the same. So I'm going to fold this guy in half and take my 5-inch slicer and just make this edge flush because it matches across here, but we just want those to be the same. Do the same thing to this one. So the tops are even. You can even measure them one against the other. That looks pretty good. Now let's trim off the bottom because we want this to be a straight line across the bottom. So I am going to take my 5-inch slicer, and I find that it usually matches up if I put one point of the ruler here along the 5-inch edge from here to here, and it goes from edge to edge here. That should measure 5 inches, and I'm going to cut straight across. And if you want to eyeball it, make sure that the 2 little pieces on either ends that you're going to cut off are about the same. Then you'll know that your line is pretty straight. And that's what you should end up with for the front and back panels of your Starburst Zipper Pouch. Let's do the same thing here. Now we'll use these units to cut out our fusible fleece and our lining fabrics. I cut out the fusible fleece with the adhesive or scratchy side facing up so that right as I cut this out of it as a template, I can just take it to the ironing board and fuse it right into place. Then I take these guys, and because they're thicker, they're easier to use as a template to cut out my lining fabric. So right now you should have your 2 outer panels that have been fused to fusible fleece, 2 corresponding lining fabric pieces by themselves, and your zipper. Now let's work to create the zipper tab ends here on either side. This is the scraps that you have left over, so you can either cut 1 tab out of each of these, or you can grab from your lining fabric and cut out the following little rectangles. I want you to cut 2 rectangles that measure 1 3/4 inches by 2.5. Take those 2 rectangles and place them so that the pretty side of the fabric is facing down. We're going to fold each end up a little bit less than 1/4 of an inch, or about a scant 1/4 of an inch, on both of the short sides of both rectangles. Then I want you to fold them in half with pretty sides touching. And let's head to the sewing machine so we can stitch up both of these short sides here, here, and on this one as well.
Now just trim away some of that excess seam allowance bulk. We'll flip these right side out and then give them both a good press.
We have our 7-inch zipper, and we are going to trim away that zipper stop. Cut it right before it to get rid of that. We're going to take one of these ends, and we're just going to slip this in just enough. You want the majority of this in here to not have zipper tape, so don't put it all the way in here, because then you're going to end up with a little bit shorter of a zipper than you actually want for your zippered pouch closure. So slide it in just enough so that that raw edge of the zipper tape is concealed inside of your little end, about 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch or so. We're going to top stitch this down here to secure it in place, and we will turn this around and do the same thing on this side. On this end, I like to just scoot the zipper pull a little bit back. Don't unzip it completely because there's no stop here to keep it from coming all the way off. But I will cut this a little before that stop as well. And this just ensures that when you are sewing the project together, you're not going to run the chance of sewing through any metal or breaking a needle. So again, on this end, just barely put it inside the little pocket that we've created to keep it in place. So I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and top stitch both of these guys down on both sides. Now the zipper should measure about 8 inches in length, and we're ready to attach it to create the zippered pouch. You want to take 1 outer piece and 1 lining piece with your zipper. We are going to lay the zipper, this is the pretty side or the outer side of the pouch. We want to lay it with the zipper pull and zipper teeth face down. Now, you need to find the center points of each of these so that we can make sure that the zipper is running evenly spaced out throughout the top of your zippered pouch. So to do that, just fold this piece in half and crease it right there. You can make a mark with a fabric marker if you like. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the zipper. Go ahead and make the marks on both sides. All right, now we're going to match up this center mark with this. Remember, zipper pull and zipper teeth face down onto the outer. And now you can pin, glue based, or use clips. I'm just going to put a few here. You're going to see that you need to work this zipper along the edge here. So to do that, I'm going to show you a little trick that helps it ease into the more rounded corner here, because it goes down in a different angle. All right? So just put a few clips there and hold it in place. Grab your lining piece, and you're going to lay that pretty side of the fabric of the lining to the pretty side of the outer fabric, like this. Again, find the center mark on this guy so that all your pieces are centered. And take the clips off and re-clip through all 3 layers. Now, when we get to these corners here, and we want our zipper to kind of curve downwards, we're going to take some snips. Get your scissors, you're going to cut into the zipper tape here, not all the way to the teeth. In fact, you only want to snip in, and I do a lot of close together snips, and I'm only snipping about 1/8 of an inch in. And you'll see what happens, that when I pull this, those little slits in there allow it to spread itself a little bit easier to get around these corners. So again, clip through all 3 layers, turn it this way, and keep it going till it comes off the edge here. Same thing on this side. Now we head to the sewing machine, install our zipper foot, and stitch this one side down. Now we head back to the sewing machine and top stitch close to this upper edge to keep that lining fabric going in towards the bag, and so we don't run the risk of getting this lining fabric caught in the zipper teeth when we open and close it. Here's what you should have so far with this top stitched edge here. Now we are going to grab the other outer piece and our lining piece. Now lay this one with the outer piece facing up, so you should be looking at the zipper pull and zipper teeth. We're going to take this one and lay it pretty side of the fabric side down. Again, mark your center mark here so we know exactly where to line things up at. And the same should be done to the lining piece. And we have the mark already on our zipper that we made earlier. So take it face down, line up those center marks. And now the lining side goes on this side so that the pretty side of the lining touches the pretty side of the other lining piece. Okay? And again, center mark to center mark. So again, the zipper tape should be sandwiched in between the outer fabric and the lining piece. Again, with your clips. And remember that as you work your way to that other angle going this way, you see how the zipper is curving? We're going to have to make some slits there just to help it along. Now back to the sewing machine again with the zipper foot, and we're going to stitch this side down the same as we did with the other one. So now we've changed our zipper foot back to the regular piecing foot, and we are going to stitch the whole thing shut. We are going to grab the two outer pieces by themselves and place them so that they're pretty sides touching, like this. And the two lining pieces should also be touching pretty sides to pretty sides here. Line up the sides, put clips to hold, and we're going to do the same thing on the lining side, but what I want you to do here first, before we start to do this, open up your zipper. If you forget to do it, it's not the end of the world. You can still find a way to open it from the inside, but it's really better to just open it here. And then clip these guys together. Now we're going to stitch around this, but you have to leave an opening, okay? It needs to be in the lining section, and I like to leave maybe about a 4-inch opening. So I'll just start or end a little bit in from the bottom corner on the lining piece. So I have this opening to flip the whole pouch out through once I'm done. So we'll start on one side. Back stitch at the beginning and at the end so the stitches don't come apart when you flip it right side out. Now flip the whole thing right side out. And because your zipper's open, you'll see, continue to flip it all out. It helps to put your fingers through the hole of the opening to get into the corners of the outer fabrics. So you can push everything out. All right. And once you have everything pushed out, you can give it a good press. You want to stitch up the hole in the lining. And I just pull on it like this so those raw edges go in. You can close this up by hand, but by machine is easier and faster. And nobody's going to see it since it's the lining. Tuck it back in there. And there is your Starburst zippered pouch. And that's it. There you have it, your finished Starburst zippered pouch. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. If you did, make sure to hit this video with the thumbs up below. Share it across the different social media sites with your crafty friends, and as usual, don't forget to click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. If you do give the project a try, make sure to snap some pictures. You can post them directly to my Facebook page, or you can tag me on Instagram using the hashtag CraftyGemini. Thanks again for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Is just another project that you can use with my... The Starburst Zipper Pouch project actually is... Now let's jump right into the project, going over the supplies first. Because we do ship internationally as well. Little Starburst Zipper Pouch with my 5-inch slicer ruler. Yeah. And the different little Starburst pouches you're making with different fabric collections. No. Why am I talking? Thanks again for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. That was good. I liked it. That was good.